Yep.
Okay, hold on. I have one more thing I have to take care of, which is text Kevin a link.
Oh my gosh, Kevin.
Well,
Hey,
wait.
everybody, we're live. What's up?
Actually, he may already have it. Let me double check. Yep, he does.
I don't want to wear my glasses because they're so reflective. I need non-reflective lenses. See how reflective they are? Like, wow.
Do mine reflect?
You can't. No, yours don't really as well. Mine are so. My lenses are really curved. I don't know.
You have cheap glasses, Logan?
No, I don't. I actually
Yeah,
have very
cheapskate?
nice glasses.
Yeah,
They're very nice, but like just the way the frames, the way the lens is curved.
Oh,
is
yeah, they're very
strange.
curved.
So it just attracts a lot of light, or it doesn't attract light, but it reflects.
It attracts it in, like the ladies. Brings it right in.
It's very attractive. The ladies, kind of like myself. I'm fine. I can see. I mean, I'm blind, but I can see.
I can say. Do you want me to say my Doom impressions for the show, or do you just want me to tell you now? I can save them for the show. I'll let the people know.
Your impressions?
Yeah, I played the demo already.
Oh, we'll do it in a second.
Well, we can do it when we talk about Doom.
Yes, that would
make it all flow together.
Yep, that's how these shows work. Hi, YouTube. We're raining.
We're live on YouTube. Where are we on the internet? I didn't know.
Yeah, we've been live for like a minute or two. You ready to go with MP3 and stuff like that?
I think so.
Hey, one viewer, whoever you are.
It's Kevin.
Oh yeah, it is always Kevin. Hey, Kevin.
Kevin's always there for us.
Hey, Kevin, I'm kind of like unemployed or whatever now, so if you want to do Bloodborne soon, we'll figure it out. Maybe within the next week or two. Probably gonna be doing a bunch of.
Kevin needs that platinum. Don't you understand? He can't sleep at night without it.
Yeah, I was the same way until I got it, so I understand completely.
Now Logan doesn't care.
I still care. Hoping we
Bloodborne 2 will not be announced tomorrow. That's my gut instinct. I think it's too quick a turnaround for him, man.
That's what you said last year when I said
Dark Souls 3.
I'm pretty sure you literally said the exact same thing. So
it's just so quick, man.
It is.
They must have two teams. All right, I'm all cuddled up. I got a blanket. It's nice and cozy. I got a pillow in case
you live in Florida. What the heck?
My room is cold.
All right, let's get going with the clapping and such. So
getting
your timestamps.
Yeah, let me write the numbers down. 5 minutes. Okay, let's clap.
All right, we're going live here for the MP3, folks. In 3, 2, 1. Hello, friends, and welcome to Millennial Gaming Speak. But this is not a numbered episode. This is an E3 2016 episode. Day 1 of E3 has ended. It was.
Is it day 1? I thought it was like.
This is still day 1. Technical day 1 isn't until Tuesday, I guess, since the show floor doesn't open until then. So this is day 1 for us, though. I'm considering it day 1.
Day 1, E3, done in the books, 2016. Are you on the hype train? Have you boarded? Are you in your cabin in the train? Are you
the EA conference didn't do too much to help me out. We'll get into that in a moment. I'm your host on this wonderful gaming podcast journey, Logan Moore. With me is Max Roberts, as he is every single episode of this show.
I've been here for I'm pretty sure every episode.
I think so. I can't think of one.
You're the one that's missed an episode.
I've thought of doing one-off episodes before, but I never have. So
he needs me by his side. I'm his wingman. He can't go into places without me.
I can't function without you on this show.
Someone's got to take these notes over here. Someone's got to make the list for you, keep you organized on track.
I like making it all up.
I'm behind the scenes. I'm the behind the scenes guy. I make everything
behind the scenes guy.
I'm gonna take a sip of this hot tea because it's only 1:15 in the morning.
Yeah, it's not late or anything. So let me explain what we're going to do on this episode. So if you're reading it, yes, this is our EA and Bethesda show. Day 1 is over, as I said, and today we saw a little bit of E3's press conference, if you want to call it that. And we also saw Bethesda's. Saw a bunch of cool new things. Saw a bunch of old cool things. And we also got a bunch of new information on when those cool things may arrive. So let's get right into it. No reason beating around the bush.
There was one thing I wanted to say.
What is that, Max?
Besides as we're going to talk about, EA being a stinker and Bethesda being, frankly, very, very cool.
which is surprising. Well, not really,
Do,
but
do you do you think EA or frankly any other major company slash dev switches out of a press conference to their own event like EA did this year, or do you think
or
EA
even like
reversed?
PlayStation has done, or
Yeah,
you
with
mean
like
like,
PlayStation experience, but I'm talking specifically for
but
E3, like
oh, I got
Nintendo's
you.
Directs, now EA's Access, or what was it? It's Play. Do you think anyone steps away again, or do you think EA goes back? Goes back, has a
I
traditional
don't know.
press
I don't
conference
know if
on
it really
Mondays.
matters in the long run. That's what I don't like. It's still an E3 related thing. Like in our minds, the people who watch this stuff, it's all E3. This is all part of E3 to us. We don't like while we do understand that they have said that there is a difference and they're not technically at the show. To those of us sitting at home on our couches watching this, they're still as much a part of E3 as anything. So I don't know. Like I don't know. I assume it. I talked to you about this earlier. I don't think this is a very big year for EA in terms of releases, and especially for. I mean, the coming year I don't think is as big as it usually is for them, and so I think that's maybe why they opted to not take up space on the actual show floor this year, and instead opt to have their own event, which because it might have made a little bit more sense for them this year. Now, next year,
That's
if they have
awesome.
more games, they might go back, but I don't know. I don't know the way the industry is moving with E3 is kind of strange right now because a bunch of people have pulled out. So I
Two
don't know.
people.
Just all conjecture at this point.
Anyway,
So yeah, let's
let's
start
talk
with the
about the
EA.
press conference itself.
Yeah,
You want to call it a press conference?
it was fine. I mean, it wasn't. I mean, I'll say this. So I mean, obviously, early reactions are from both of us is that it wasn't that great. Definitely expected a lot more. Um, just I don't know. It was a letdown in that regard because I think we had expected to see more from them. The things that they did show us, like because for the most part, what did we expect to see? We expected to see Battlefield and we expected to see Titanfall and we expected to see Mass Effect. Titanfall
Mass
and
Effect,
Battlefield,
most importantly.
yeah, most importantly, Mass Effect. Battlefield and Titanfall, I felt like delivered in what we wanted to see and what we were expecting to see. Mass Effect, we all felt underwhelmed. We'll get into that in a second. So you want to break this down from how it started and where it went and talking about the
Yeah,
important things?
they opened up. They had a very long intro.
They did.
If public speaking, teaching, and frankly, just watching any sort of conference or video content, if your intro is long and boring, if it drags, you lose interest very quickly. You got to catch people from the get go. EA did not do that. They talked a lot. I frankly don't even remember what they talked about. I remember a logo for the company,
I think they
talking
talked
about
about
how
the
it's for the
event
gamer
itself.
and like, how we're here, how Peter Moore's off in London. It was a very dull intro. It didn't capture anyone's attention, which is in stark contrast with Bethesda, which we'll talk about
With
in
the
the later half of
Greek
this show.
theme.
Then from there, they went into if my Twitter feed, because I organized the list, but yeah, I didn't actually take notes during, which was my bad. If my notes serve me correctly, they opened with Titanfall 2. Um,
Yeah, that sounds about right.
like they started out the show with it, which
Yeah,
earlier
that's
in the
what it was.
day they were doing rehearsals, which makes sense, but they actually only streamed their rehearsals live, and so their Titanfall single player trailer leaked this morning, but
Which they made light of later.
they showed up. They led with multiplayer today, and then ended their Titanfall section with single player. Big key things as far as gameplay goes is there's now a grappling hook, which it's the year of the grappling hook, I suppose. The grappling hook and what's the other new feature that every video game has this year? Last year was the dog. This year's the grappling
Um,
hook.
trying to
I
think.
feel like there was something else. All that aside, there's new Titans, which makes
Year of Luigi, maybe. I don't
no,
know.
that was 2 years ago. Anyway, there's new Titans,
Yeah.
which
Oh,
expected in a sequel. I'm
so there's like 6 new Titans. There's new weapons. I mean, it's everything
yeah.
you'd expect from a sequel. New weapons, new ways to run around with the grappling hook, new Titans, all that stuff you expect. It looks cool. We could go into detail about it. But just go watch save yourself some time. Go watch the 90-second trailer. It'll do more justice than us talking about it. What did you think about it overall? From like
so flipping fast.
It does.
Yeah, you don't stop. If you stop moving that game, you have to die. It just seems like that.
Yep.
It takes the sniper.
The sniper class was the one thing or the sniper weapon or whatever it was in Titanfall. It never felt feasible because you always do have to be moving in that game, and it is really, really fast.
You're running on walls. You're sliding. Now you're grappling. You're vaulting over things. It just seems everything seems very fluid, and it has to be for this kind of FPS. And you notice if you look at the competition, the Call of Duty Black Ops 3 is, from my understanding and what I've seen, is notoriously fast. Like Black Ops 3 is boom, 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 boom.
I couldn't play it. I tried to. If you listen to the show, I've stopped playing Call of Duty for the most part. I played Black Ops Online though, and that was the first one I'd played online in a while. And wow, yeah,
it's super fast.
Too fast for me now.
I just played the first level of Doom, which this is a single player game, but that is absurdly fast. Like,
do you like it?
Yeah.
You need to get a couple weapons. When they said it was the first level, I don't feel like it really heats up until about the third level.
Heats up. I get it.
Yeah.
Because you're in hell with some demons. I noticed the market as far as FPSs go seem to be moving toward this very fast motion, and Titanfall definitely delivers on that. It's always cool to have more Titans or, expanding on that. It gives you more options. It looks like you can do more in the Titans, which seems pretty cool.
It looks like they have a little bit more attacks than they used to, and you obviously got the sword that you saw in the original teaser, things like that.
All about them swords. The only other big thing for me for Titanfall was what was lacking for me in the first game, which was a campaign. When I get an FPS game, I usually prefer the campaign over the multiplayer. That's just usually how I roll. So it's exciting to see some sort of single player focused content in Titanfall 2. Will it be good? Who knows? It is Modern Warfare. It is the Modern Warfare team.
I'm not expecting it to be standout. Like, I don't know. It might be all right. Who knows? They've got a story trailer for that out. If you're interested,
it sounds like a boy, a boy
and his blob.
No, I was gonna say a boy and his dog. Like, there's the robot and the human bond thing, which has been explored. We'll see what it could be. The bro shooter it could be, or it could have some meaning to it.
Yeah. So I overall I think it looks all right. It comes out October 28th, so definitely
right there at the end of the month.
Right there with Skyrim, which we'll also get to in a second. Dropping hints for what's to come. It looks fun though. I'll probably pick it up. I don't know. We'll see. Too many multiplayer only games now.
It's not multiplayer only. It is now a single player and multiplayer game.
Yeah, I guess. Oh, it's still multiplayer in my mind. We saw Madden, which was really heavily focused on the esports community this year, which was strange. I don't know. I don't even feel like giving much attention to this. We saw Madden 17. It looks like a new Madden.
Yeah,
there you go. I'm a sports guy, and I just this and FIFA did nothing for me. May as well talk about FIFA 2. We'll go a little bit out of order. They showed FIFA 17. They showed a new campaign mode or story mode similar to what they did in NBA 2K16 this past year, where you create a player and the player has like.
They didn't do NBA 2K.
All right. Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying.
You're saying the game did it. Okay, got it.
Yeah. So
it's, as far as Madden goes, they did announce that EA is going to do these like esport like events, which seemed kind of like a big deal. When one of the biggest gaming publishers says they're going to start putting out.
They've had Madden tournaments for years though. So,
but this is not just going to focus on Madden. They did, but these are going to focus on their other games like Battlefield and FIFA. Battlefront could be in there.
That'd be
When
dope.
EA says they're going to put out $1 million pots, that's kind of a big deal. Whether it has an impact or matters in the long run, we'll see. Madden, you tweeted out you were excited. There's a new commentary team.
Oh
So
yeah, I was just mainly bashing
the
Phil
previous ones.
Phil Sims and Jim Nance from the old ones. Yeah, I
Well,
don't much care for their football commentary.
Well, there you go. New commentary. FIFA, dear God.
Yeah, they spent like 10 or 15 minutes on it. It was kind of
It felt
tiresome.
like 2030.
Yeah,
It
it felt long. I
it
mean, the
was
conference
they had
itself was
Pele
only about
2.0.
so
They had Pele 2.0. It was great. They brought out some actor.
should have brought out Hoop God.
They should have. They brought
It was
out
way more
some actor
entertaining.
who gave like a 2-minute monologue about how he's going to be this known soccer legend. And then it launched into the story trailer,
Yeah,
which made sense, but it was so cheesy. It was now a campaign in a soccer game that could draw in a lot of people like myself. I'm not interested in it at all, but people that really don't like sport games or don't play them because they're not very good at them. I'm not good at these sport games at all. A single player game where you can hone your ability seems to make sense. It could be fun, could be cool. Who knows? Soccer's soccer, or
yeah,
football, as it's called in the rest of the world.
yeah. I mean, again, I don't think it's anything either of us care about. But as I brought up to you, this is for their stockholders, or it's not directly for their stockholders, E3, but it's to show off the industry what they've got. And so, of course, EA, as a massive publisher, has to show off the next FIFA, which, believe it or not, probably sells more copies than any other game they have on an annual basis. So, of course, they've got to give it some time. We saw Mass Effect, so let's get into this. We saw more of Mass Effect Andromeda. I don't think it was
Did we
anything.
see Mass Effect? Did we though?
Yeah, we saw Mass Effect. I don't think it was what we were expecting, though. So I
It
think
was not.
going into it, myself, I expected to see a gameplay demo. I expected to see something similar to what we got. I told you that, but I expected to see like a doc and some highlighting the scenery and the worlds and things like that. And then I expected to see a story trailer, and then I expected to see a gameplay demo for maybe 5 or 10 minutes. And we didn't get a gameplay demo. We didn't get a story trailer. Very loosely, we saw some story things.
I would say that story trailer is akin to on Mass Effect Day. I think they put out some narrated trailer that showed real life space travel.
Yeah,
I'd say it's on that boat. It's just you are leading this group of people. You're going to the Andromeda Galaxy to find a place for humans. So we are the aliens now because we don't belong in that galaxy. They showed off. This vid doc was cut with people talking about making the game, and then the scenery. Like they showed off different settings and scenes, character models. All looked very pretty. Some environments looked dense and interesting. Others looked bland to me.
I thought the whole thing looked dope. Personally,
It was pretty, but some places looked like places I explored in Mass Effect 1. And I didn't know how I felt about that. I really want to see how this game plays because that's what I care about. I thought we'd see dialogue choices, but they showed off really stellar animations and just really high attention to detail stuff, which is cool. But I'm tired of these vid docs, EA. This is the 3rd year in a row.
yeah, we expected to see more. It was kind of disappointing.
I'm sick of vid docs. I want gameplay demos. I want trailers. Give them to me, please. For the love of God.
Yeah, what they showed, I mean, I'm obviously the Mass Effect fan out of the two of us here, and what they showed definitely got me hyped up. I definitely will say that I'm more excited now after seeing that than I was before. But still, it was just the whole expectations versus reality type thing, and I wanted to see way more than I did. It was a little disappointing that we didn't get to see more, but I like how they're not they haven't shown me too much yet to where I'm like not excited at any point, not excited to see more. So I don't know. Well, there's not much to say at this point. Again, go watch the video for yourself, see what you think. I really enjoyed it. I really liked it. I love seeing familiar faces and species and things of that nature. I'm also super glad to see the Makos back, or whatever they want to call it in this game. I absolutely adore the Mako, and I missed that it wasn't in Mass Effect 2 or 3. So I'm really glad to see that back. Overall, though, yeah, I'm really, I mean, this is probably like one of my most anticipated games right now, and I just want to see more, and they haven't shown it. So, but
I
it's
know
fine.
the feeling, dude. I know the feeling.
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts 3,
Yeah,
Zelda.
Zelda we get in 2 days or 1 day now, I guess.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see more, but it's fine. We'll see more later. The one thing I brought up,
they did say more this fall, which I mean is an announcement for an announcement. You said, and I don't know if this is what
I was
you were
about to
to
bring
say.
this up. Yeah,
You don't think it's going to hit early 2017?
No, they keep saying early 2017, but I mean, E3 is the stage where you show this stuff off. E3 for EA especially, they don't have a big fall event, so it's interesting that they're saying they are going to show off more this fall when that's not necessarily a thing they normally do. E3 is usually the place where EA shows off their stuff in grand style, and they didn't do that with Mass Effect, and we expected this to be the time when they did. So for them to kind of hold their cards again and not really do anything, they just kind of checked, and what they did wasn't bad, but what they did wasn't blowing anybody's pants off at the same time. So it was yeah, we'll see what happens moving forward, but it's also a little bit odd that they didn't show anything, which makes me question, okay, is this game still on track? Is it still coming out for early 2017? It's so huge, and there's so much going on here that the attention to detail is so great that are they going to make it? Is it going to, I'm honestly not expecting them to make it early. I think it'd be late 2017. And
you think late? I would think if it got delayed, it'd be a summer game, which I think is, I mean, March is a good time as well, but I think summer for huge open world RPG where your decisions matter and you're building relationships and you're exploring, in this game's case, galaxies. I think summer is also a good time to push it too.
I mean, it could be. I don't think it's going to be. I mean, we originally thought it would be by March at the latest.
March 2017 is
the latest. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so I don't think it's going to hit that personally. I think they would have shown more today. So I'm not concerned about the game's development or anything, but I just don't think it's. I don't know if it's on track, and delays are a pretty normal thing in the industry, so it wouldn't surprise me. Fingers crossed, maybe we see more of it tomorrow at Microsoft's show, though, or maybe even Sony's. But Sony and PlayStation, or Sony and PlayStation, Sony and EA, or BioWare specifically, usually don't have those agreements.
It's usually the Microsoft.
Usually it's Microsoft.
It would be stellar if we saw gameplay tomorrow at Microsoft. It really would. That would be what would get me excited.
Well, we saw slight gameplay in what they showed today, but there was no HUD attached to any of it, and it wasn't like a live gameplay.
It was very more cinematic. I wouldn't be surprised if pre-rendered.
Yeah, probably. I mean, they always are.
So
I don't know. It looks fun. Again, I'm still very excited. I know Max is still skeptical, but he's
very skeptical.
I
want to be excited.
I think you should. I think this is going to be one of the great games of this console generation, and I don't have any.
That's putting a very high bar on.
I mean, I have the utmost trust in BioWare. The fact that this game has been cooking for almost 5 or 6 years now is saying so much to me, because I think they could have put a toned down version of this game out by this point, because they have done that with games in the past, like Dragon Age 2, even Mass Effect 3. I felt like was a lot more narrow in its focus. The fact that this one has been cooking for as long as it has just really says a lot to me.
Can you imagine how great The Last Guardian's going to be, or Half-Life 3, or Kingdom Hearts 3? Because they've been cooking twice as long as Mass Effect 4.
I think they maybe
gestation time is what matters.
They write a line of code for those games every week.
Probably. Those games specifically are ridiculous. Final Fantasy 15. That game is gonna be dope because it's got 10 years under its belt.
Yeah, no kidding.
God, video games are dumb.
Let's keep it moving though. We saw they announced a new program called EA Originals, similar to like
ID at Xbox.
ID at Xbox, where it's a little bit or UB Arts thing. Ubisoft has their UB Arts.
When was the last time we saw a UB Art game?
We saw Child of Light. We saw Valiant Hearts. I thought we saw another one recently.
Valiant Hearts, I think, was the most recent one.
I feel like there was another one we're forgetting about, but I can't think of it off the top of my head.
To the Googles while you talk about.
So yeah, basically they showed off a game for this program called Fee. Your little fox that's flying around. It looked weird. I don't know. I don't even know what to make of it. Again, everything we're mentioning, just go check out for yourself and see if you like it and how you feel about it. But basically, this is a new program or new division or whatever it is going forward, and it should be interesting. I'd like to see some smaller games get highlighted from EA developers, EA, whatever. And yeah, I mean, Fee, I don't think it caught Max or myself. It just kind of looked strange.
Valiant Hearts. I was getting some. Sorry about that. I was getting some weird Journey vibes from the game, with making sounds and communicating with the animals. I do like the art direction. I think the art direction is very nice.
Yeah, it looks pretty. Lots of purples.
It's purple, which I like. You know, I like that stuff. This is becoming a trend, though, I'm seeing in the industry. These publishers find a certain indie game that looks really cool and might even demo well, but I'm very curious. I wonder how many more of these we can have before we start to really pick and choose the good ones, the real cream of the crops, instead of just deeming them all great games before we even touch them. We see games like Yarny or, oh crap, I'm blanking on it now. I just had it in my head. Like, there's always these games that we see that are like, that's a really cool original indie idea. Let's see what it is. How does it deliver? And then I think we forget about them shortly after. You know, Yarny came out and got good reviews. Nothing great. I mean, a sequel is coming. We'll see. The engine's very pretty.
There is a sequel to Unravel?
Oh, yeah. Yarny.
Yarny.
Oh, is it Unraveled is the name of the game?
Yeah. The protagonist.
Okay. I just call it Yarny. There's a sequel to that game coming, which is very cool for that dev. I'm sure this is the next game in the EA original series, but I'm curious how many more of these gorgeous indie games we get before we get tired of seeing them. It's almost like they're AAA indie games. Not that a AAA studio is developing them, but they get the limelight of a AAA game. I'm curious how long it's going to last. But, I mean, I like the way it looked. It looked good.
I don't think they're going to back games that they don't believe in. So, I don't know. It'll just depend on a by-game basis, I guess. What did we see after that? Battlefield 1. It looked like Battlefield. It looks really pretty. Looks really fun. Looks crazy. Another great trailer for the game. Check it out. The multiplayer stuff looks cool. I'm digging World War I setting the more I see of it.
They had Jamie Foxx and Zac Efron there.
Oh, yeah.
They celebrity sighting of E3. Holy cow. Whoa, I was lying. Are you guys stoked to play the game? The two famous individuals looked at each other very confused. Zac Efron looked back and went, yeah. With no emotion whatsoever.
And Snoop Dogg played it while smoking a blunt after the show. That was cool. Smoke weed every day. You know what I'm saying?
420 blazing.
It's actually 6/12, but whatever.
6/12.
That's the date. Never mind.
Oh.
Anyway, so I don't know. I don't know. Nothing really much new to say about Battlefield besides it looks freaking awesome. It really does look great. I was telling you, Max,
it looks like Battlefront, but with a World War I skin.
It looks like Battlefield.
No, wait.
Battlefront looks like Battlefield with a World War I skin. I used to be a huge Battlefield guy.
That was my. Which one's Star Wars?
Battlefront.
Yes, the new Battlefield looks like the new Battlefront with a World War I skin. Because now you fly planes, which is like flying X-Wings and stuff. It looks like, I mean, they're the same dev, right? It's both DICE?
Yeah, but DICE has got tons of different.
Okay. I mean, it's a very pretty game. I still don't think we've seen concrete gameplay. I haven't seen the HUD in shooting. I see snippets of it in this montage, but I haven't seen the game running start to finish from a match.
We probably could have watched it on that stream afterwards if you really wanted to see it, because I know they were streaming the first 64-player turn match or whatever. So if you wanted to see it, I'm sure it's out there. But they just didn't show it.
I don't care.
It looks really good. I used to be a huge Battlefield fan. I'll probably jump all over this and see if it hooks me back in. I used to play the multiplayer a lot. Battlefield 3 was incredible. Probably one of my favorite 360 multiplayer games. Closing the show out, or I think Battlefield would actually close the show out. But last thing we'll talk about, Star Wars. They talked about their slate of upcoming Star Wars games.
Amy Hennig's game.
We saw that. It looked really freaking good.
It exists.
I would hope it exists.
Oh gosh.
They showed all the studios that they've got under EA's umbrella and what they're developing. We saw, I can't remember all the names of all the different studios, but basically we saw about a 3-minute video that gave us an inside look into all of the different studios.
Visceral?
They've showed us Visceral, they showed us Respawn, which is the Respawn's game is way out. They just started developing that recently. But
they showed Motive.
They showed, I think Critical was another one.
Dice
was one. Critical, I think, was one, and then BioWare with the Old Republic. So we saw a little bit of everything. They showed us Dice because they've got the next Battlefront game coming out next year, which they said will involve things from the new films, which is awesome, which is exactly what I want. I'm so excited about that. I love Battlefront. It's so fun.
It's good.
The whole video made me smile though, because I just love Star Wars games, and I love that we're getting a ton of new movies year after year after year, and we're gonna get a ton of new video games year after year after year. I adore Star Wars. It's like I said to you when we were watching it. Nothing makes me smile as much as Star Wars does, and that's factual. I adore Star Wars. Like, it's probably my favorite thing on this planet besides the Chicago Cubs.
It's out of that whole vid doc as an EA tradition. The thing I was most excited for was Visceral's game, because it's Amy's game. It showed a little pre-game, some alpha footage, literally just a character walking outside.
Looks like it's going to take place during the reign of the Empire, which is cool.
Taking over. It looks like a Tatooine, a desert planet.
I don't know if it's going to take place with them taking over, but you saw Imperial Star Destroyers and you saw TIE Fighters, and it was from that era. So
yeah, so it takes honestly,
place.
That was the most exciting part of the whole conference for me.
That video made me smile real big and goofy. Like I was very excited. So,
but yeah, I mean, get ready, because Star Wars is going to be happening for the rest of our lives now.
Totally okay with it. If there's one thing I want to happen for the rest of my life, it's Star Wars for sure.
I just don't want them to be bad. I really want Visceral's game to be good.
Bad Star Wars games are better than no Star Wars games, though. So that's how I'm looking at it. I don't care. Go crazy with the video games. Now the movies, please don't screw up the movies. Bad Star Wars movies.
Don't screw up the movies. Okay.
Bad Star Wars movies. But if you want to make a bad video game, I don't care. Whatever. Go crazy with Star Wars for all I care. Make as many Star Wars games as you want. So that was EA. I don't know. It doesn't sound bad when we break it down like that, but it really they dwelt too much.
Felt like a drag.
Yeah, they dwelled too much on Madden and FIFA, and they never really delivered.
FIFA was half that conference.
They never delivered with what we wanted or what we expected from the other things. Titanfall was fine. Battlefield was fine. Mass Effect wasn't what we wanted. It was cool to see all the Star Wars stuff. That was probably the most exciting part of the whole thing. They just didn't give us what we were wanting or expecting, and I think it felt like a disappointment in that regard. I don't think any of us can deny that there's a handful of games that they have upcoming that we're excited for, but I think it's just the fact that we expected more from them here today, and so maybe our expectations kind of in that regard. They
let us down a little bit.
So, but it wasn't the worst ever. But
don't you worry, EA Day 1 recovered itself.
Yeah, I think
Bethesda saved the day.
Yeah, Bethesda had an awesome showing.
And I never thought in a million years I'd say that.
They're a great publisher. I mean, the more I think about it, I mean, when they came out this year and they said, we're coming back to E3 this year for our own press event, it sounded kind of weird at first, but they really do have a ton of games the more I think about it. And they've got a lot coming up, and they've got a lot of IPs to pull from and a lot of new ones to create. There's a lot going on at Bethesda, a lot more than I ever gave them credit for, and a lot more than I think a bunch of people in this industry gave them credit for. So let's get into that. Of course, I missed the first couple minutes because I was watching Game of Thrones.
You did miss the beginning, but
okay,
right? Don't you worry though, because the press conference was delayed by 15 minutes.
Yeah, I did see that. I was keeping up on Twitter.
Not even
I saw that
press conferences are safe from delays.
But I was kind of sad because I wanted to see Morgan and Adam doing the pre-show stuff. Man, I miss Morgan and Adam.
I don't have any.
You have no ties to them because you weren't a G4 kid like I was. Man, I
didn't have cable.
I spent hours and hours on end watching Morgan and Adam Sessler on X Play. So
I did tweet out before the press conference. That's too many to dig through. The gist was,
I was gonna say, don't worry about it. We don't need a verbatim.
After EA today, I really want Bethesda to show me why I should play their games, because as I've said on the show before, I'm not a Bethesda person. The games they're traditionally known for, their Elder Scrolls and their Fallouts, are just not my
That's their development studio. So
that's Bethesda as a dev, not a publisher.
That's the first thing I think of when I think of them as well, as their development studio, but I don't think of them as a publisher. Yeah.
And tonight they delivered on showing me games I want to play that come from them.
Yeah.
Granted, they're from them as a publisher, but tonight made me believe in a Bethesda game. So they did their job very well on my end. And the way they started that was by the way they started their press conference.
Came out shooting with Quake, which I don't think many people were expecting.
I don't think anyone didn't leak.
No, it didn't leak. That was actually kind of cool when I saw that on Twitter, because I was still finishing Game of Thrones. When I saw that it was Quake, I was actually really excited about that. Quake Champions, multiplayer shooter. Looks like it's a little bit hero-based by chance.
Oh, very clearly.
So we'll see how that turns out.
The characters.
Yeah. But if it has the core elements of Quake with being fast, you're running around, it's an arena, you're tight, focused arena shooters, then I don't think the hero thing is going to make a huge difference. Jared Petty, who's a massive fan, was talking on the IGN after show that
you actually missed it on the pre-show. Jared Petty, they were killing time because it was delayed 15 minutes, and they said, like, what's the dream thing Bethesda could announce for you tonight? Yeah. And he said, I would love to see Quake. I don't think it's going to happen. And then
he was playing Quake on the way to LA. He was while he was waiting on his airplane.
And so right when the show started, it opened with Quake. I couldn't imagine how happy he was.
Did you see their post-show thing? It said Quake Champions announced, Jared Petty officially happiest man on earth.
I was so happy for him and any other Quake fans, because they literally 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 Quake trailer. That's how you open a press conference.
It was good. I think Quake's a little bit. I think Quake's a little bit more before our time. I mean,
I have no idea what Quake is. It's a shooter.
It's an old PC gaming shooter. It's kind of in the same vein as Unreal or stuff like that. The old PC shooters.
If other people are happy, I'm happy.
It was in that first wave of multiplayer shooter. It was one of the first multiplayer shooters. It was also in the same wave of first-person shooters that came after the initial ones like Doom and Wolfenstein, things like that. Then it went to Quake and Unreal and things of that sort. So it was a little bit before our time. We didn't ever play it, but it looked cool. The trailer was good. So I don't know. It's coming to PC, so I won't play it. But I also like it.
That was a very interesting announcement. PC only.
I like that though. I really do, because that's where the audience is for that game. Don't put it on a console where people are going to complain.
I can respect that. Yeah.
And things like that. Put it on PC, put it up on Steam. The dedicated people who want to play it will buy it, and I mean that's your community. So I'm totally okay with that. So we saw that. We saw afterwards Elder Scrolls Legend, which is their card game. I think they announced that last year.
They did. It's been in beta. It's still in beta, but it is coming to iOS and Android and iPad and PC and Mac later this year.
Looks interesting. I'll give it a shot. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be free to download with microtransactions, I would assume. So
I would think. I mean, it looks honestly like Hearthstone and Gwent had a baby,
Yeah, it looks interesting. I'll be interested to get my hands on it and give it a shot. So,
Another collectible digital card game. I think the market is expanding for that. I like, what I played of Hearthstone, I really like. And of course, I love Gwent. So,
Gwent Game of the Year 2015.
Gwent 2015, 2016, 2017, forever.
So after
Now,
that, we saw, if that's
we
all you
have,
want to say about that. Sorry.
no, that is all. I was going to transition and then you transition. So we like transition at the same time.
Transition together. Oh, just
We
grab my
got the
we'll
Bethesda
go
dev vid
Yeah.
doc. Not really, but we got the Bethesda developer update.
Yeah.
And
So
go, Logan, go.
yeah, I was gonna
Give
say
us
I'm
your
just gonna
Fallout.
do all of this in one fell swoop here. So we got new info from Todd Howard, Todd the Man Howard. He is the best dude on the planet.
That was the best nickname you could come up for him, Todd the Man
It
Howard.
was just just come on, breaking my rant up. We saw that Fallout Shelter, the famous iOS game, is going to be coming to PC at some point later this year. It's going to get a big update. There's going to be quests and things like that now. New characters, looks cool. Then what else we got? Fallout 4 DLC. They talked about all of that. We've got one coming out next week, which is a contraptions DLC. Looks like you can build elevators. And
Who needs this?
Just a bunch of random stuff. Yeah, it looks kind of
needs to build a Rube Goldberg machine in Fallout.
Yeah, Rube Goldberg stuff.
Why?
Because people will create awesome stuff and will watch YouTube videos.
I believe that, but why?
I don't know. Because I don't know. It's
That's
fine.
what mods are for.
It's more stuff. Whatever.
I guess, more stuff in the game that has already too much stuff to do.
So we're getting that next week, actually, which is kind of cool. Next month, we're getting a Build a Vault add-on. I'm kind of sick of the workshop stuff, but I think this one specifically is really cool. You can build your own vault from the ground up, like you would, like the other vaults you find in the game. Now you can build your own. Really cool. You can experiment on your vault dwellers, which is really cool because if you play the games, you know that Vault Tech did that stuff. That's why that's like your whole like the whole plot of the game of you getting frozen and then coming back to life. Like them freezing people was just an experiment they want to try on. They want to see if it would work. Vault Tech was a weird company, so the fact that you can then experiment with your people is really funny. That'll be out in July, and then in August. What?
I had something I wanted to say.
Fallout?
No, this was genuine. I was going to say about the Build a Vault thing. When mods came out on Xbox One, I read an article about them over on Kotaku, and one of the more popular mods was a build your own vault mod. So Bethesda's effectively killed that genre of mod, I think, and I'm interested to see what the modding community does with official tools, and then they add their mod tools on top of it. Like, think of how even more rich these vaults can go. Because I think, you got to build your own town, so why not build your own vault? I mean, I think that's just a charming thing for Fallout fans. It's very much a cool fan service, I think, to them. So
yeah, it's definitely the coolest. It's definitely the coolest workshop DLC they've added so far, and I
think it's also the meatiest.
Meatiest?
Workshop DLC?
Workshop one? Yeah.
Not because Far Harbor.
The first one had a decent amount in it.
The automatron thing, the robots?
No, the first all workshop one, whatever it was called. The second DLC pack, but the first one that was focused entirely around just the workshop materials. That was actually pretty meaty. They added a bunch to it.
Okay.
So that was interesting. And then we saw more than I do. A quick preview for what comes out in August, which is probably going to be the last DLC pack, and that is Nuka World, which is if you know anything about Fallout lore, you know that there's an entire theme park dedicated to the soda Nuka-Cola, and it looks like that you're going to be able to take a trip to this fun land of Coke, Nuka-Cola.
During the pre-show on IGN,
and it looks awesome. I got really excited about that.
During the pre-show, they said that someone had been digging in the code and they found like one line that said Nuka World, roller coaster or something. And so this whole theory spawned. I was like, that sounds ridiculous. That sounds like the dumbest.
That's a thing in the lore. Like, even I was watching it with my friend and he's like, oh yeah, I knew about that. So that's a thing that is mentioned in the game.
Theories of this, I was like, this won't come true. So when I saw it, I got excited, not because I care about the game, but because the rumor was proved to be true. I'm very curious what it'll be and how it'll be. I assume it's the Far Harbor equivalent, right? Or do you
I
think
don't
it's
know if it'll
lesser?
be an equivalent, but it'll be the next big expansion in terms of like more quests, more people to talk to, more places to go, things like that. I don't know if it'll be as big as Far Harbor was, but it'll be bigger than
It'll be a
Automatron
story
was.
DLC.
Yeah, it's the next story DLC, so
Okay.
it looks cool. I mean, we only saw it for a couple seconds there, and I mean, I've got the season pass already, so I'll be getting it day one.
You're
Gives me a good reason to jump back into Fallout, though, and I'm excited to see what it has in store. It looks wacky, and Far Harbor was a little too serious, and
how
I'm excited to be
about
playing something a little bit lighthearted.
how about a good reason to stop playing Fallout?
Don't need one. I mean,
Because Todd, the man Howard, had one for you at the end of his little Fallout
he
spiel.
did. So as soon as we're done with Fallout, we will have Skyrim Remastered in our hands, which will be coming in October on October 28th, same day as Battlefield 1. Oh, dang. Yeah, there was
October 28th. I thought that was Titanfall.
Or Titanfall. I'm sorry. Yeah.
I got you.
Thanks for saving me. It looks pretty. It looks good. It's more Skyrim.
I actually don't think it looks good.
Oh man, fresh hot takes from Max.
Well, I didn't think it looked graphically impressive. I think the leap from last gen to this
it
gen
doesn't look like a Battlefield or something.
but it doesn't look.
It's still a port. I mean, we have to remember.
Yeah.
So,
but it didn't look.
It wasn't made
it's coming out for this gen, and I know it's a last gen game. Being
somebody who poured like 120 hours into the last one, like it looks better. It looks way better.
Oh,
I understand what you're saying though. Compared to other things today in the gaming industry, it doesn't look.
It looked like a
back or anything.
I love how they used big PC gamer terms to describe new features. Like water shaders. It's like, guys, it's just the water looks prettier. That's all you got to say.
People understand. It looked
my favorite part was they led with the PlayStation 3 version, like PS3, PS4. That was the transition they led with.
Oh yeah,
when they showed side by like they showed the comparison, I was like, really, this is what you're gonna lead with? Let's see the game not crash. Let's see the game not run or bug out.
Got a Skyrim hater here, people.
Well, no, I think anyone that played it on PS3 was not a Skyrim fan. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it did not run correctly on that system, right?
Not sure. I don't know. Played it on 360. So I heard it probably had a couple issues, but I thought Fallout 3 was the one Fallout 3 was the one that primarily had issues.
It could have been both.
Because Fallout 3, they didn't know. It was like the first game they put on PS3, which if you're familiar with, you know that it had a very strange... You had to design
that cell architecture.
Yeah, you had to design games for the PS3 in a real strange way. So I think that affected Fallout. Not sure about Skyrim, though. It may have... I'm sure it crashed. The PS3 itself was just a very odd machine. So I put that more on the system than I do on Bethesda. So yeah, it looks cool. I thought it was kind of funny that it got announced today. I said of all days, I think it's funny that this game was announced today. Ironically, for personal stuff. Screw it. Why the frick not? Old girlfriend got married today, and at one point when Skyrim came out originally in 2011, I played that game so much that we broke up because of it at one point. So
you broke up because of Skyrim?
You're
the internet jokes come to life.
A little bit. Not, I wouldn't say because of Skyrim, but let's just say that I wasn't hanging out with her as much because of it. So I thought that was kind of funny.
Oh my gosh. I don't think I could ever be sucked into a game that much.
That was still back when I was like 15.
2011, right?
Yeah, I guess. So yeah, I was like 15 or 16 when it happened. So I didn't know what it was like to have a lady friend or anything at that point. So I was just like, I'm gonna play my video games tonight. So I played that game way too much. It's a great game though. I mean, when I saw it, I really don't want to jump back into it, but when I saw it, I was like,
why would you? You spent 120 hours. Why would you want to redo all that?
Because killing dragons is really freaking fun.
I'll tell you why you want to do it.
I also haven't played it in like 4 years, and so
I'll tell you why. Because there's mod support on consoles, bringing it back to the news.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Doing the Randy Savage mod, that'd be fun.
Thomas the Tank Engine Dragons. That's
Thomas
what
the
I've
Tank
seen.
Engine Dragon. That'd be cool too. Yeah, I don't know. It sounds fun. I bet I talk myself out of getting. I bet I get it at some point.
Don't. That's a waste of $50.
I bet I get it at some. I mean, like down the road. I'm not saying day one by any means because I know I'll have 50 other things to play. But if I hit a dry spell and I'm bored, I wouldn't mind.
I don't think you will because of your backlog, but we'll see.
Yeah, my backlog's long, but
all our backlogs are long.
Yeah, they are. So that stuff looked cool. After that we saw
the most exciting part of the press conference.
I think the most exciting part was at the end. So this is the weird part. So we saw Prey, which let's just talk about it.
Turned.
Looked, I don't know. Like, okay, so it looked good. First off, let me just say, it looked good. It looked interesting. It looked fun.
Prey. I don't know if we said it. They re-revealed Prey.
Not really. It's like it's not anything close to being the same game we saw a couple of years ago. So before it looks like Prey 2 was entirely scrapped. They may have kept some of the team together. The game doesn't look similar whatsoever though. You're not a bounty hunter. You're not running around random alien planets. It looks like it probably takes place on a space station or something like that. It's not anything close to being what Prey 2 was. I also don't know how it ties into the original Prey, which I did not play and I don't know a lot about.
I don't think it ties. It's called just Prey. So I think it's a rebranding. I think it's a relaunch.
That's what I'm thinking as well. But at the same time, I'm wondering why brand it as Prey still when the Prey license really didn't have a draw to it in the first place. So,
I mean, it'd be like if you called it Scary Space Adventure. I mean, like both, and that's a terrible name, but both names like don't have a weight or sense with the mass market.
I mean, even your tweet after it was revealed, you said, "What is Prey? What is this series? I want to know about this." And like I saw you say something along those lines.
Yeah, I was like, I don't. And
that made me realize that like
Prey is, but that looked really good.
Yeah. Well, see, that's what I'm saying though, is that when people hear Prey, they're like, "Oh, I've heard of that game before." Possibly, it's kind of a not talked about game very much. It was like a 360 launch title and didn't get much traction.
It's this like spooky dystopia spaceman game. I'm all about it.
Asian man with a cool mustache and some red eyes has got some gooey stuff attacking him.
Ladies and gentlemen, what I tweeted was the first Bethesda game I had to buy. I said, hey, based off that trailer, obviously if the gameplay is like looks dumb or something, I'll stop. But that got me hyped. That was the first Bethesda game I've ever been hyped for.
It did have a cool Dead Space vibe to it. I don't know what it's going to be about. It's obviously a first-person shooter. Don't know a lot about it. I mean, again, I wasn't disappointed. I mean, to clarify, I wasn't. I told you that I was disappointed. I wasn't really disappointed, but I wanted the core idea of Prey 2 to be intact if we were indeed going to see a new Prey like we did, which is you're a bounty hunter going around to these different areas of this planet, hunting people down and turning them in and getting cash. It sounded awesome. The gameplay looked so cool. I love the entire idea of that. Now this is not the same thing. This is not the same. This is not the bounty hunter idea that I liked so much, and I guess I'm disappointed in that regard. As a whole, though, the game looks cool, looks interesting, definitely has my interest. Not out until next year, probably fall next year, if I had to guess. So we probably won't see anything of it again until probably E3 of next year, if I had to take a wild guess. But it definitely has my interest. And again, yeah, the Dead Space vibe to it. It has. It looks like they may be going for a little bit of a horror shooter type game. So it looks interesting.
It does.
What do we got after that? So we saw Prey. We got Doom DLC, more Snap Map stuff.
The next three things I don't think really pertain to you.
I'm just I'll tell you about it. But so we got Doom DLC, and they released a demo, so you can download a demo for Doom right now if you would like. Also,
which I did. Do you want? I mean,
you talked. Did you mention a second ago? You said it was fast.
This is very fast. You don't reload, which is weird.
You don't?
I didn't. Well, at least in my time in the demo, I didn't reload. Like I didn't do a reload animation. I didn't hit X to reload or anything.
That's
Um,
weird.
I just kept shooting with my shotgun, just do 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 do. It's so flippin' fast. It's like instead of the reticle like being the thing that moves fast on the screen, it's your entire character that's moving super fast.
Do you like the idea of if you need more health, you better shoot this thing and then punch it in the face and then get the health from it? Because that was my favorite thing from it. It was totally different from cover-based shooters and something like Call of Duty, where it's like, oh no, I got shot a bunch. I'm gonna go hide in this corner where no one can shoot me. Instead, it's, oh dang, I'm low on health. If I want more health, I need to go shoot this thing in the face, and then I need to tear it apart with my bare hands, and then it'll spit health out at me. That's my favorite core element.
I mean, that was cool. I thought those animations got a little stale after a while because they were essentially the same thing.
Definitely gets stale, but I mean, they're so quick that
yeah, the game's
it's
very
no
quick.
different than
found
shooting something in the
the
face.
thing I didn't like the most was I'd like just run through the level and get to the door I needed, and then the demons would just come to me and I'd just kill them and then go through the door. Like I also
Again,
would
first
get
level is way different than the
okay.
rest.
I would also just get like lost. I'd go here and be like, oh, I can't go this way. And then I turn around and run past the demons and then go to the next spot. Like I found myself getting lost quite a bit. And I'm not sure if that continues throughout the rest of the game.
The levels are very, very open.
Okay.
I encourage you to try it out and play it, rent it from Redbox or something like I did. I think you may like it.
It was.
Did you play Wolfenstein? I forget.
Nope. What's a Wolfenstein? Didn't touch it.
Okay. So yeah, it's really, I like it a lot. I like how the map layout is set up. I mean, most of the levels start off and you'll have an initial small area that you are kind of fight out of, and then you get into a way more wide open area, and then you can go in. It'll be like you have to go and do thing A, B, and C, but then you can do them in any order. So if you want to go do thing C first and then thing A and then go to thing B, I mean, you can do it however you want. And there's a bunch of hidden collectibles stashed everywhere. It's fun. I really liked my time with it. So again, I would encourage you to try it out. After that, we got some Elder Scrolls Online content. We saw just more
we
stuff.
heard this girl freaking out during that press conference about every single Elder Scrolls Online announcement.
Yeah, so she's
got her own
obviously
hashtag.
She did get her own hashtag.
She flipped out, man. It was great.
So yeah, we saw Dark Brotherhood expansion coming to that, which is cool. Bethesda VR, they talked about. We now know that Doom is going to be coming to the HTC, or Doom's going to be coming to HTC Vive, as well as next year Fallout 4, which is nuts. No, I don't think anybody expected that, but that's really,
these are things
cool.
that
you
I
have
think
$800 to drop on a Vive.
Well, I think we need clarity from Bethesda on, because the way he described Doom sounded like an environmental demo, like looking at or just walking around. And especially after playing that demo, you would get sick playing that game in VR.
Maybe
moving that quickly and having to like turn around and shoot something, like you couldn't do that. I feel like that's an environment demo. Fallout, I'm still confused on, because he said like explore the in the background, the red gas station, the red rocket or whatever. He's like, go check out the red rocket iconic location. Is Fallout just like an environment thing, or are they talking the entire game? I
don't see why it wouldn't be the entire game. I mean, especially if it's coming out next year, it's obviously something they're working on. So I don't see why it wouldn't be. If it was just a small chunk, then
people are going to get sucked in this. It's going to be a black hole. People will never leave their headset.
Well, that's already a thing. It's already a thing with Fallout. Now you're just going to be wearing a funny hat while you do it.
Scary. Like that even deters me even more from Fallout. Like just that would take the overwhelmingness of being able to do whatever I want whenever I want to the next level, and that sounds scary. Also, I don't think Fallout 4 is like a very pretty game to begin with. So putting that right up against my face, I don't think would make it look any better.
The fact that it's even an option though is what's cool. So
it is that is cool. It's only for the HTC Vive.
I mean, I guarantee you when I get my PSVR in a couple months, not every game is going to be gorgeous on it. So,
I don't think it will either, but I feel like Fallout is one of those that could make you not feel well, could feel sick, because those games are notorious for being janky. Like they just are.
I think it could be fine. It's
And
slow
there's
enough.
so much
It's slow
tearing.
enough in
You're right. It's not a Doom thing
way.
where you'd be.
It's not a Doom.
I want more clarity if this is the full game or if this is just
It's got to be the full game.
vertical slice.
I mean, I don't think they would have said that. They would have said all they said was Fallout 4 is coming to HTC Vive in 2017. That was the sentence.
Yeah, but their language was weird about it. So
I didn't get that vibe personally.
I did. Maybe I'm crazy, but I want a little more clarity. I would like that.
I feel like it'd be a
previews,
massive bait and switch if they. I mean, I don't understand why they would beat around the bush if it
because the headline Fallout 4 in VR gets way more clicks than Fallout 4 vertical demo.
Well, they don't
vertical
care
slice.
about that. If it a couple months later, then
I think they do. They need to generate buzz. But anyway, I want more clarity on it. At the very least, or at the most, I want previews. You know, I want to hear people's impressions of Fallout in VR.
I don't know. They don't care about the clicks though. They care about sales. So if they were to do a bait and switch, that'd piss people off, and I guarantee they wouldn't get any more sales. So,
but I think the words Fallout 4 VR, like that logo, sells more anyway. Just like Skyrim Remaster sells and Fallout 4 in general sells. They can do whatever they want, I think.
So, closing out the show, we saw Dishonored 2, which we all expected to see from the opening, from the get-go.
I did not expect to see this much of it.
I thought we'd see a decent amount. Honestly, this is their big game. This is their big game this year, and this is Arcane's big project. It's coming out in November 11th. Yeah, November 11th.
November 11th.
I wasn't expecting to be this excited about it. Wow, that's probably one of my favorite upcoming games at this point, because that demo was fantastic. If you've played the previous Dishonored, it looked, the best way I can explain it, it looked like more of what the first Dishonored did, but the environments are bigger, and it looks like there's a lot more powers and a lot more things to just tool around with. I don't know. If you played this first Dishonored, it's definitely more Dishonored, but there's more going on at the same time. And it looks really, really good. I was very surprised by it.
I was also very surprised, and I think even more so because I didn't play the first Dishonored. And like I said earlier in this show, I said Prey would be the first Bethesda game I buy. Now it might be Dishonored 2. This game's art style I enjoyed very much. The gameplay looked very unique and cool. It didn't seem like an open world, but it seemed like kind of in the same vein of Uncharted 4, where they were open environments, a wide linear structure where you can explore and approach things how you want. It looked like that in this stealth first-person game where you have superpowers. I was getting some BioShock vibes from this game.
First one definitely gave off those same vibes.
With now I'm blanking. What's the name of the powers in BioShock?
Plasmids.
Plasmids. Vigors. That's what I was thinking.
I mean, one-stop shop for all BioShock needs.
So the powers were plasmids, like I got that vibe in a very good way. The story seemed sort of interesting. Like it seemed
the story has a lot to do with the first one, or not a lot, but the characters and things like that are from the first one. So,
speaking of the first one, if you pre-order the game or buy the collector's edition, you get the first one for free.
Which is a really cool gesture and not just a backwards compatible one for 360 or something like that. You get the definitive edition,
the upport, and that, to me, especially for the collector's edition, that is how you sell a collector's edition. It's $100 and it comes with 2 games. If I was to buy those 2 right now, $60 for Dishonored 2 and what Dishonored Definitive's $30-$40. Like that's it right there, and then you get a bunch of cool other useless stuff like a statue. But this game looked really fun.
Yeah, the first one's a lot of fun. It's fun to screw with people because you've got
you can approach it in so many different ways.
Yep, that's the best thing about the first one is that they give you one thing to do. You have get here, kill this guy. You can do it infinite different ways, and it's really cool in that way. And this one looks like it's taking it to an even
that objective type thing sounds like a Splinter Cell to me. Like I'll always remember this mission in Splinter Cell Blacklist where you had to get some top dog inside his like private house villa, and he had this safe room, and you had to get in the safe room to get him. It was like, and the way you could approach it was so many different ways just to eliminate this one target. I like the sound of that.
Yeah, it definitely, I think, is my favorite thing we've seen at E3 so far, mainly because it caught me off guard. When I heard Dishonored 2 was coming out, I was like, okay, cool. I liked the first one, wasn't like what my favorite game ever or anything like that, but second one, okay, I'm probably on board. I'd play another Dishonored. Definitely didn't expect it to look this good, though. It really looks a lot. The environments look so much prettier than the last one, too. I didn't think the last one was an ugly game, but this one looks incredible. And I like the dual protagonist thing. I like getting to choose between Corvo or Emily. And yeah, it's probably my favorite thing in E3. If you can find the gameplay demo online, go check it out. I assume they've probably posted it somewhere. It's really, really impressive, and I really enjoyed it. So
it was nice. And
that was it.
Wraps it up.
That's what they closed it out with.
That's day one.
That's day one in the books. Before we get going, though, Max, let me ask you, what was your favorite thing you saw today?
I think the thing that got me the most excited was the Prey teaser.
Really?
Yeah. And even though Dishonored 2 had the gameplay, and like that was a game, I mean, that was a game I knew nothing about, and now I actually know a good chunk of its, design philosophy. We didn't even mention the time travel thing.
Yeah, I thought about it, but that's like that's a hard thing to explain on a podcast. So the time travel,
I don't think so. I think I got it.
No, just you should let the people see it for themselves, I think.
But no, it's like this environment, but you see both the past and the present at the same time through this small visor. And that is such a cool way to solve puzzles and attack people.
It looks
very cool.
It looks very cool.
Like that. Dishonored is, I guess really Dishonored is. I mean, Prey I was super excited for, but based off the trailer, but this is a game that actually has piqued my interest from a gameplay perspective.
Yeah, who knows how Prey's going to turn out? I mean, it looks promising right now, but you never know.
It was so... Bethesda succeeded in what I asked them to do before the presser. Get me excited about a Bethesda game. Now their next task is years down the line, and that's to get me excited for a Bethesda developed game, which probably won't happen because all they do is open world RPGs.
You're just closed-minded, very closed-minded.
I'm not. I'm waiting for it. I'm sitting here waiting. I want to be excited for Mass Effect. I want to be excited for a Bethesda game. But they haven't done it.
Excited when what about thing you see? Gotta give that Skyrim. You just gotta jump into the Skyrim. You just gotta try it out.
No, definitely not.
I told you what it was like, though. I told you what it was like, and you're like, okay, maybe I understand it. It's like saying you only played the first part of Skyrim is like saying I only ever played the part of Kingdom Hearts when you have a wooden sword.
Yeah, it's a boring part.
It's just, and it also is not representative of what the game as a whole is. So
yeah. I mean, but they're scary games, man. They're so over flipping whelming. I can't do it.
I still think if you have,
they also don't run well.
If you have played The Witcher, then
which runs well,
that has
fantastic side quests that actually are meaningful.
You haven't played Skyrim, though. Again, you're making comparisons when you haven't played the game. Skyrim has more
deep and meaningful side quest with characters you genuinely care about.
Yeah.
I don't believe it.
There's like 4 different guilds that you can join and rank up.
You leave a book here, it remembers it in the RAM. You can steal things from people. I remember seeing that. There's some dragons. There's a Fuz Roda and an arrow to the knee.
So your info from the game comes from memes.
Vampire DLC.
There was some vampire DLC.
I'm trying to think of everything I know about Skyrim. I think that's it. You can be an elf thing.
Elf
You can be
thing.
anything.
You can be an elf thing. Yeah.
There's some magic. God, those games are scary to me. I can't do that. It's
To
just
say that there's not meaningful side quests is definitely
I never hear about it though.
false.
That's
The
never
side
what I
quests
hear.
are the best part. There's like 4 different guilds in
I-
each of the games. There's the Dark Brotherhood, which is an entire guild about
That's what
assassinating
Fallout has
people.
that stuff, right?
Huh?
Fallout has that, right?
Not to
They
the
have
extent that Elder Scrolls does. No.
I
Elder
thought
Scrolls
no,
definitely has
but
Fallout beat when it comes to side quests and guilds and things like that. Because you
Huh.
can join the Mages Guild and do all kinds of quests for them. There's the Thieves Guild. There's the Dark Brotherhood.
I like thieves. I'm usually a thief. I think that's what I
Yeah.
was. I think
There's
that's what
all
I
of
did.
these different guilds where you can level up and rank up,
Oh
and
God, that sounds
it's
like Destiny.
really freaking cool.
That sounds overwhelming. You're
It's not
telling me
overwhelming at all.
you're telling me I
It's
have to join 4 different guilds to do all the quests?
It's no different than Witcher. It really isn't.
Witcher, I don't have
I'm
to
telling
join
you,
a guild.
Witcher is 400 times more overwhelming coming from somebody who has sunk hours into Skyrim, Fallout, and Witcher. Witcher
That's
is
weird because
so
I don't
much
find
more
Witcher
overwhelming.
overwhelming at all. I'm like,
Oh my gosh. Then you
so
wouldn't find
good.
Skyrim overwhelming at all.
No, those games are scary.
Maybe
Maybe it's because you can do anything you want whenever you want. Witcher, I never felt like that. Witcher, I always felt like this is what I gotta go do, so I go do it. And then I come back, I'm like, oh, I could do this. Sure.
Really? Those question marks all over the map scattered?
Oh, I shut that off.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's why.
Yeah, I don't do that. I shut those question marks away because I shut them off not because I was overwhelmed, but because the map takes longer to load if it's trying to load all that. So I just have the essentials.
Skyrim and Fallout are way more manageable than Witcher. Witcher is the most overwhelming game I've ever played in my life. The inventory system is just very
patch 2.0 or whatever 1.2 is so flippin' nice.
It's nicer, but it's still just a beast to manage compared to Skyrim.
Maybe it's because I had to do it for work. I just had to tame the beast. I had to master.
I'll
say this, and we can wrap this little discussion up. Before The Witcher, I never would have played it. Never would have touched an open world RPG like that. But because I had
guess what was your favorite game of last year?
Witcher's amazing. And because I had to do it for work, I had to overcome that. So maybe I would like a game, but I'll say this. Fallout or Skyrim really may have those elements of side quest and story and things like that, but they still do not run well and they still do not look good. Witcher runs well and looks good.
I don't think Witcher runs that well.
You're playing on Xbox, so
yeah, I don't know. I mean, it still doesn't run that well.
And even if you take the PC ports,
I mean, you bashed on Skyrim a second ago for running bad on PS3, and I said it ran fine on 360. So I mean,
that was the sell thing, though.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I don't think Witcher runs
of the Xbox and PS4 are close. Anyway,
we don't need to carry this discussion on forever because I'll keep busting Max's balls on it forever. You've never played it. You can't say it's better if you haven't played one or the other.
The closest I got to playing Fallout was unboxing it for free and it crashing on me during the installation process.
I can speak
Bethesda, you know how to make a game.
I can speak. They sell millions of copies.
I know. They make so much bank. It's ridiculous.
You're in the vast minority of people.
Yep, I'm happy in my little cocoon away from all of this.
You're very odd.
I am odd.
But then your favorite game
I also don't like the first-person perspective for that, but that's a personal taste.
You can turn it into third by clicking a button.
But it doesn't run as well in third, right?
Yeah, it runs perfectly fine.
It's not what I've heard.
I mean, it doesn't. The gameplay isn't as tight. Probably, it's not designed as a third-person game, but it's perfectly manageable to play as one.
I don't want something perfectly manageable. I want something that's perfectly managed. Runs.
Max, I'm gonna judge games without playing them. All right, so my favorite thing today was probably the Star Wars stuff, and I was also, as far as actual games, though, Dishonored blew me away. That was very, very excited for that now. The Star Wars stuff got me really excited, though, and I did get more excited with what I saw from Mass Effect. I know you thought that, I don't like the desert landscape.
It doesn't look good.
That's gonna be one planet out of 200. Right. So
I just don't know why they showed a bland brown one.
What are you supposed to have in the desert? They're showing a desert location. I don't think there's gonna have.
It's got to be populated with something. Gotta do
naked,
something.
here's our desert of naked ladies everywhere.
Oh my
So
god, what kind of game is Mass Effect?
there's a
To
lot
be
of
fair, that's all I hear about is
there's a
just
lot of
all the
naked ladies
romance.
in it. Thanks for listening to this episode. I know we got kind of carried away here.
You wanna
Day
tell
one
them
is
about our
over.
E3 plans for the rest of the week?
Yeah, so we're going to be recording again tomorrow. If you've been watching in the YouTube feed, the live YouTube feed, we're going to be recording again tomorrow after Microsoft's press event. Talk about what we think about that. Then we're going to run off to the movie theater, go see Sony's press event, come back here, record another episode. And then Tuesday, we will be recording again, but it'll be a regular numbered episode, episode number 45. We'll talk about what we saw from Zelda, maybe talk about Ubisoft a bit. I don't feel like there was a time. Oh, we haven't seen that yet, I guess. I don't know what I mean. There's not anything to talk about.
I would think, honestly, my opinion is I think we just do what we did tonight and we talk about Ubi with Sony.
I want to keep Sony its own beast. I really do, especially since we're going to keep Microsoft its own beast. But that's just me. We'll figure it out. We'll see how much there is with Ubisoft, because I'm expecting Ubisoft to be in the same.
I want a Zelda only episode. I just want to talk about that game because
we don't even know. It could be an awful demo. I'm not getting my hopes up for that at all. So I know how Nintendo is, and I'm not getting my hopes up. They suck.
Who claims
Nintendo has sucked for like 3 years. I'm not getting my hopes up anymore. I'll be a skeptic.
They haven't sucked. Look, we've got Super Mario World.
How many games have you bought over 10 games by Nintendo in the past 2 years?
Yes. Over 10 games in the past 2 years? Yes.
Skeptical about that.
Wii U and 3DS? Yes.
Not counting eShop.
That's a digital game.
Doesn't matter. Not counting eShop. New releases.
Yes.
I'd be interested.
I'll send you a list after the show.
Okay. So that's it for this episode. We're going to be recording again soon. You can look for those if you're listening to the E3 or the MP3, not the E3. If you're listening to the MP3, we may have more episodes up by this point.
Definitely more than 10.
Looking.
And there's definitely more than 10 that have come out that have been good.
Wrong.
No. If it's Wii U and 3DS, yes. Absolutely.
I don't even know if I can think of 5.
Oh, you're not very plugged in then.
I like Nintendo, but they've sucked for 3 years. So the Wii U's a failure. So
commercially,
no, the Wii U's a failure. Period.
It has fantastic games.
It has fine games.
Fantastic.
It's got a giant mega brick controller that I wish didn't exist, but it's whatever. Let me get
Mario
through
Maker possible.
So,
all right, spiel.
Thank you for listening to the show. We appreciate it so much. You can find us on Twitter. The show's at MGS Podcast. Follow us there for any updates that we've got coming up over E3 week. You can follow me, Logan, at Moreman12. You can follow Max at Max the White. You can email the show at mgspodcast@gmail.com. Tell us what you think about EA and Bethesda shows. Tell us what you're expecting from the rest of E3 before we record them. Get those emails in tonight or tomorrow morning, and we'll check those out. Maybe read them back on the show tomorrow. You can also like, share, and subscribe with the YouTube video if you're watching us on YouTube. Hey, what's up? We know we got some people in there tonight. And yeah, we would appreciate all of that very much if you could do so. And with that, I think that's it for this episode of our E3 show.
That'll do it.
About it. Longer than I thought we'd go, but not too bad.
Well, we did argue, so.
We did argue for a bit there.
And I interrupted you a lot.
Intolerant of Fallout and Skyrim, so.
I'm very intolerant.
That's it for this episode, though. Thank you so much for listening, and we will be back.
Todd the Man Howard.
What?
Oh, great is he?
He's a great man.
I was saying, please forgive me, oh servants of Todd the Man Howard.
One of the probably best developers in the game industry. So,
one of them, yes, I'll give him that. The best, no.
Anyways, probably Kingdom Hearts dude, Mr.
Tetsuya Nomura.
Yeah, you probably want to open mouth tongue kiss that guy.
No, but he is pretty great.
Let me say this too. Actually, never mind. It's just in the show. We're leaving now. Goodbye before I say dumb things. So bye everybody. We'll see you on tomorrow's episode with Microsoft and Sony and all that stuff. See ya.
E3 hype. Okay.
Bye,
What were you
YouTube.
gonna
We'll
say?
see you soon. See you
What were you
tomorrow. We got about 3 more episodes coming at you this week. So
I want to know what you were gonna say.